Just a few changes from everything, and we are in business here. Why do I hear all of that outdoor sounds inside the castle? Interesting. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka Multimedia Jay, for part 2 of the little experiment. We did some streaming on Twitch earlier, and now we're keeping an eye on the whole setup with YouTube as well. Looks like it's still the same way as it was last time, and I can hear outdoor noises because of a glitch in this game where indoor stuff isn't as indoors as it should be, so we might as well just go outside. So we did some streaming on Twitch earlier. This is a split stream between Twitch and YouTube. Gonna experiment once again with YouTube, and it looks like it still has a lot of the same issues that it had the last time I streamed over on here, where half of the stuff that's done natively in OBS has to be done through the special YouTube interface. So you basically have to split your screen on your streaming monitor with basic OBS on one half and the stuff for YouTube Studio on the other half. So it needs a little work, but we'll see how things go here. I'm kind of limited, though, because of the crossover with the upload side of things versus over on Twitch, where I do more things with things like overclocked remixes and stuff like that. We're sticking with just music from YouTube Audio Library, so the tracks will be Evening Land Rev for the opener, Evening Land Nimbus for the intermission. The closing will be Spence Unstoppable from the YouTube Audio Library. Bitrate tonight is 10,000 versus Twitch's 6,000. We'll see how nice it looks. In the meantime, let's turn off chat so you don't see everybody's LFGs or anything, and let's head back out to Skyrim, where I am working on the main quest out in Western Skyrim for the newly released ESO Greymoor expansion. Some eye candy has been added to the game since the last time I streamed it on a regular basis. I found the TAA, I've upgraded my graphics card to RTX 2060, and I found the TAA setting for temporal anti-aliasing, or whatever it's called. That makes it look a lot more photorealistic and less pixelated than the FXAA and the other stuff. So let's get out to Western Skyrim here and continue the main quest. We're doing just in-game music here, just to compare the two platforms and see how the numbers go. So far, Twitch has the advantage, despite its lower visitors per day and whatnot. Just the more gaming-centric nature of Twitch versus YouTube. Plus, of course, I wanted to get involved with a second platform to balance things out versus the uploads that are available over here. So let's see here. Let's go off to Western Skyrim. Where were we? Yes, that's right. We have to head out to various... I'm missing some way shrines. Let's fix that. That's why I can't get out there as quickly. Still haven't filled out the map. See, I've done different parts of the Greymoor expansion with different characters. So, let's see here. Let's load everything up here, and... what the... oh. Heracas? The heck kind of name is that? It's a violation of the naming policy, then the ESO admins will deal with it. This game runs off a mega server, so if you see somebody annoying, chances are you won't see them again. But now let's just take in the scenery and listen to the music, actually, of this game. Late night. Late night ESO. Let's see how it is here. Weather could be better. 2 knobs with the setup. The knob on the keyboard controls how much I hear of the game. Then the knob on the microphone is the monitor for how loud the microphone is through the headphones. OBS handles the levels going out to the audience. Nice relaxing game at the very least. Nothing's going on because we're just going from point A to point B here. We need to pick up that... Alright, let's pick up that way shrine up here so that we can fast travel out here. Can't believe I never picked this up. I've already been to the crafting station before, but never picked up the way shrine. What's the deal with that? Nicer graphics, anyways. If I want to do more streaming on YouTube, though, I am going to have to take a look at my overlay for Stream Elements. There's actually separate accounts for the two connections. Whoops. I have to combine all those together under the Twitch account so I can import the overlays. I don't know how the overlays on Stream Elements are going to handle Super Chat and Super Stickers, though. Might be better just to leave them as is. Okay, so we have that. Next thing we need to do is check out the coastal camp, which is way over at the edge. Now, why does this say that there's a sky shard in there? Well, I could go get it. Let's see. Yep. Is that west? Yeah, that's towards the west. Sunset, almost nighttime out here. Alright, let's give the horse a break here. So I've talked about this over on the radio style show over on Twitch. Let's see what I have here. Yep. I see transcoding in YouTube Studio, but let's go to my channel directly, see if we can tune into the stream. What kind of transcoding is what kind of transcoding do I have here? Yeah, there it is. Been a while since I tried YouTube gaming. Let's try it. Let's leave everything muted, of course. Okay, there we are. There we go. 1080p 60 full transcoding, baby. Can I get a screenshot of this? Yeah, let's see. Picasa. Let me open up Picasa and get a screen print of this. Just for the heck of it. Get a nice looking screenshot while we're at it. Let's see. Not that far behind. So low latency mode for YouTube is the equivalent of, well, there is a little bit more latency than there is on Twitch. We'll compare that as well. Already have a like. That's nice. Let's see here. Let's pop open the menu. I have to take a screenshot of this. Screenshot of this to Booyah Twitch. Here I am, bump on a log, streaming on YouTube, full transcoding, 144p, 240p, 360p, 480, 720/60, and 1080/60. Helps with the accessibility. Helps very much with the accessibility, too. So people don't need, if they have internet connections that aren't as good or less bandwidth, they don't need to fully support 1080/60 in order to watch. I've always considered that a huge, huge plus. The UI could use an upgrade, though, for this. I also want to do a lot of streaming on Mixer.
I was hoping you'd
I know the site's shutting down in a month, but I'm curious if the number of streamers might fall before the number of viewers. I'm legit curious about that. See if we can meet some new people before the site shuts down. And just say, yeah, I do stuff on Twitch and YouTube as well. Check everything out. Alright, let's see here.
Was right. This camp is crawling with the Ice Reach Coven. And they're definitely producing the medallions here. I was even able to slip away with one. We need to get closer, though.
So the medallions in Greymoor, there's these big red storms called Harrow Storms that basically kill anybody that's not a vampire or a werewolf. The medallions are a defense for any humanoids that are involved, like the witches in the Coven.
There's more to figuring out this magic than just watching from afar. I need to know exactly how they go about creating them. With your help, we can learn everything about that here in this camp. It's a landing site for the boats coming from the island of Ice Reach. Plus, they're collecting something here that goes into the process of creating the medallions. If you can get me to the center of the camp, I can learn what that is. Determining how they create these medallions will be an enormous help. The Grey Host has accelerated their plans. They need more medallions for a reason. A big harrow storm is coming. We need to be ready. Because the Grey Host is guarding something down there. I couldn't get close, but it appeared that they built the camp to surround something.
We'll continue to 5 a.m. Eastern, see how this goes.
Complaining, really.
We consider it a cook test.
More medallions. In the First Era, an army of vampires and werewolves tried to conquer the land before they were stopped in Bankurai. They called themselves the Grey Host. It seems this Rada al-Saran has resurrected the army, both figuratively and literally.
The one down to this setup is that if anything shows up in chat, it's got to be further off to the side.
Let's examine the nearby graveyard.
It's got to be way further off to the side than it is with Twitch. I can have the chat on screen number 2 on the left, but here I got to put it way over there somewhere. Oh, really? You think you can beat up a Shaka then, huh? Shaka tank as well. Gotta stop. See what it is with the skills going off twice when they should only go off once. Don't know if it's the mechanical keyboard or not. Whoops, forgot to interrupt them. Wonder if it might also be the bandwidth as well. No, 100. Latency's fine.
More troublesome than they're worth.
Plunk! 18 grand. Now, let's see. We're looking for the coastal camp. So up here by the tents, you think? See if we can find what we're looking for. Digging up graves, are we?
Examine the headstones. Let's determine what's so special about the exhumed bodies.
Here lies it, that son of... As old as the hills, warrior born, he passed on the privy with a heaping of scorn. Is this one of those puzzles where the bigger text means something?
There must be something that connects these graves to the medallions.
Medallions! More of them! Soon we will know the taste of triumph.
Wonder if the... Yeah. It is all capital letters. I'm wondering if the big words mean anything.
Finished? Have you come to any conclusions? Well, we've both been over the headstones with a fine-toothed comb. If we can determine why the Coven dug up these particular bodies, it will tell us something about how the medallions were enchanted. Of course, compare notes and look for commonalities. You have the makings of a fine scholar, my friend. Now, let's see. I noticed there were a mix of different races buried here. They weren't all Nords. Anything strike you about the departed?
Yes, they all shared something in common when they died. They were dead.
They did? Tell me more.
They were all buried in this graveyard.
Well, yes, but so were the bodies that weren't disturbed. We're trying to determine what the exhumed corpses have in common, remember? There must be something else that we're missing. Of course. Compare notes and look for commonalities. You have the makings of a fine scholar, my friend. Now, let's see. I know. Really? What was that?
Oh, wait a minute.
True.
Now
The
I'm just
inscriptions
guessing.
mentioned wives, brothers, sisters, and sons. There must be something else the exhumed bodies had in common.
Why don't we go take a look at those again? Are any of these still... Dutiful fishmonger, wife of Yoren, choked on a fishbone, her youth not yet faded. Oh, wait a minute.
Soon we will know the taste of triumph.
Old. Alright. All the stuff that was exhumed. Looks like all the folks that weren't exhumed. Young. Young. I think it's age.
The hour
As old
of our
as the
triumph
hills.
draws near.
I think that's the thing. That's old and wise. No, not player basics. Old. That's it, the age. That's the thing. Of course, I get lore books from all these gravestones.
Well, we've both been over the headstones with a fine-toothed comb. If we can determine why the Coven dug up these particular bodies, it will tell us something. Of course. Compared... Really? What was that?
No, that's not it.
Well, of course, they did. Of course. Why didn't I see that? The headstones on the exhumed graves all mentioned that the person was old when they died. Let me think. Some necrotic spells require the remains of the elderly. Something to do with the natural decay of life. According to one necromantic theory, the older a living thing becomes, the more necrotic energy it naturally acquires. As a body grows old and withers, the life inside it decays. Necrotic energy is the byproduct of this deterioration. I now know enough about how they create the medallions to move my research along. I'll return to the Blue Palace and start putting an elixir together. To fully craft an elixir to defend against the Harrow Storms, I still require a sample of refined netherroot brew. Plus, we need to determine what the Grey Host has planned. Help Lyris and Svanna at the other camps. Then meet me at the Blue Palace. I'm glad to hear it. That just leaves finding out what the Grey Host has planned. Go meet Svanna at the camp in Blackreach. I can't say I envy you. While Blackreach provides some fascinating points of study, the dangers appear overwhelming.
And so Blackreach, that means we gotta find a great lift. Where's the closest one? Nowhere close.
Epic fail.
Yay. So let's see here. This is the closest one here. So we're gonna be doing some hot. Yeah, I was hoping I didn't hit escape and escape out of my own stream. Alright. Now we'll do some hopping with some way shrines here. Fortunately, hitting escape goes back to fade to black, which I have to replace in these OBS profiles anyways. There should be some kind of backdrop that doesn't make people think that something's not working. With the radio style shows, I have like what looks like a mixer board, little graphic that I modified in PowerPoint. We'll have to see if we can make something for these templates. So this week I have Sunday off. Sunday night off, so 3-day weekend. So that Sunday will be the chores day. We get all the chores done that normally get done on Saturday. But I am legit curious about a YouTube stream during prime time. See if I get some better results versus how Twitch usually goes. So there's a ratio of hours streamed versus hours watched. I've been comparing YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and bringing Mixer in back before Mixer was announced that they were shutting down. So, because of Mixer shutting down, Twitch actually has the worst ratio of streamers versus viewers. So there just aren't enough people watching on Twitch to really provide enough of a potential audience to the streamers that are over there. YouTube has a better number, Facebook has the best numbers, but Facebook also has some issues with the way that they run their partner program. So you're actually technically limited on streaming, and you have the worst setup out of any of the 3 platforms until you're in the partner program. Then you get access to transcoding in 1080-60 and stuff like that. So I think that the interest in Facebook is going to remain artificially low. Let's see, we want to get to a great lift, so this one. The interest in... Oh, why don't we go from here and we discover this one and then go down into Blackreach that way? We could always also go just teleport straight there, but I want to unlock more of the map. So yeah. So that's the issue I have with Facebook. Been talking about it on the radio style shows. Facebook has a bit of a problem. Some of it has made it over to this channel as well over on YouTube. But let's see here. Facebook kind of has a double whammy on its hands with... What kind of... Is that really the noise that elk make? It seems like it's a louder deer noise than most of what I hear. Well, it is Skyrim. Everything's supposed to be a bit more bigger, colder, and more bombastic. It's the home of the Nords. Come on now. So, Facebook has a 2-tiered system with Facebook Gaming. If you're not in the partner program, you're basically, it's crap. 720-30. You have to get into the partner program in order to access many of the technical features that are standard on a site like YouTube, and you maybe eventually get sometime on Twitch. So that's a bit of an issue. And it also ties your viability as a streamer to being in the partner program. So if you ever get kicked out or whatever, then your quality should theoretically drop back to 720-30. I think it's going to come down to YouTube versus Twitch eventually. I'm not really convinced of Facebook Gaming's longevity. All right. It's been rapidly growing, but rapidly growing in the sense of people don't know about it as much as they should. Plus, I don't know if there's any passion for games at the top. Mark Zuckerberg's more of a numbers guy. It might take a new CEO at Facebook in order for Facebook Gaming to be anything serious. YouTube, on the other hand, is a sleeping giant. If the UI and some of the other issues over here are fixed, Twitch is in trouble. Got a higher bitrate, full transcoding right off the bat, so someone with a crappier internet connection can tune in and not get endless buffering. There's the algorithms, the search engines, the tie-ins with the uploads. Really, YouTube should crush it within the next couple of years. Let's see here. But even under low latency, it looks like I'm gonna have to pick ultra low latency in order to get a Twitch-like experience on here. I just hope the buffering's not too bad. Let's see here. Don't know what that would require for bandwidth either. Alright, so where are we going down here? That's Greymore Keep. We could always, fill out more of the map. I don't know what this is that's disconnected from everything. There's a section of Blackreach that ties into Windhelm. So, let's see. Investigate the Blackreach camp. Actually, according to this, it's up on the surface. Does that mean it was somewhere near a great lift? Ha! Bizarre. Alright, so we're in the Lightless Hollow. Show on the map where this is. Well, that doesn't help me much. Or is that it? No. Oh, there it is. We have to change areas in Blackreach. That's what I keep forgetting. This isn't one giant cave down here. There's multiple sections of this whole thing. So we actually have to go through here and then come out somewhere near the vampire place for the player housing. What the? So apparently I should have gone back up to the surface. Alright, let's just follow the map for this one. Gloom Spore. That's what all that Gloom Spore stuff was. I was wondering what the deal was with all of that. Is this thing... Alright. Close the things on the bottom of the keyboard. I don't know if they're really helping any. I keep missing stuff. Like, the buttons aren't... Like, I'm hitting buttons that are in the wrong spot. There's our great lift. Let me just see something here. See how that thing's doing. A 100 views on the Dr. Disrespect discussion. .104 actually, 3 being vetted. We'll see what happens during the day. Okay, so I'm back up on the surface, though. Go to the Blackreach camp above, and it's in this general direction. Where is... It's asking me to go underground again over at this great lift. Alright, so let's go to Western Blackreach. That's part of it there. I keep going to these door markers. See, I thought it was underground. But I think what the game is trying to do is it's trying to recommend the shortest route, and the shortest route isn't the route that makes the most sense. So, well then. Find a way shrine and head over there.
What do you want?
I often wonder if that's the tavern maid dress that that lady was wearing there. I often wonder if Final Fantasy players... Maybe they go for the whole white mage look.
Where's that caravan?
With that tavern dress.
It should have arrived by now.
It's not quite the same as the Final Fantasy 1 white mage garb. Okay. More Kazgur. So we actually have to head to the west, near the town that was ravaged by the Harrow storms. So this is somewhere down in Western Blackreach, but I actually want to follow the map markers. See if this thing sends me on too much of a wild goose chase. So let's head in here, and then let's see here. Hag Ravens. Uh-oh. Carthal, Great Lift. According to this, though, the door that I'm looking for might be a little bit separate from the Great Lift. Yeah, go ahead. Try and knock me off my horse. I have max mount of everything, including max mount stamina. Yeah, very hard to knock someone off their horse when their mount is maxed out. Okay, there's the Great Lift. Oh, there's an entrance to it. Crazy old dark elf. Yeah, right, he's an orc. Alright, it's enough of that imp thing. Dark Moon Grotto. Yeah, so even low latency mode on YouTube, in order to match what Twitch can do nowadays, you have to use ultra low latency. Normal latency is probably like Twitch 10 years ago. These platforms all have their strengths and weaknesses. Alright, so we're back, and we have to go to see if we can pick up the Dark Moon Grotto Way Shrine on our way to this thing. There's another one up there, too. Let's map all of this. I think there's like a 5-second rule for using doors when you're in combat. Let's grab all the way shrines. We're going a little out of our way here, but let's see here. Dwarven sentries. There's that way shrine, and we'll double back and get the other one. We'll get our fast travel completely unlocked here. Ah, I got hit by something. Now we actually have to fight those sentries. Or wait until combat drops if they're stationary. Cubbly the Large? Some of these transmogs that people have in their gear in ESO, I don't really understand all that much. I might be a little biased, though. I played Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. I don't mind having characters who look like they actually fit in the universe, as opposed to the neon orc things that some folks are doing. Still stuck in combat. Was stuck in combat. So there's our objective right there. Let's head down to that other way shrine.
You don't look sick. Do you need a place to stay?
Yeah, that's right. Just ride past all the werewolves. Alright, where is this? Yeah, watch out for the choruses. They're just as annoying in this game as they were in Skyrim.
God damn it!
Harrow storms and what they do to my people. I came here to learn what the Grey Host has planned, and what did I find? Good citizens of the Holds, afflicted by the Harrow storms and kept prisoner for some ungodly purpose. No matter how many I set free, the Herald will not leave this place. That's all I've been doing, and trying to get these afflicted people to leave this place. The Herald, the storm robs them of their will, their minds. I wasn't able to slip deeper into the camp, though. Agreed. There appear to be a number of Grey Host warlords in the camp, so discovering their plans should be possible. We need to be careful, though. I don't want us to wind up like the Herald, serving as food for these bastards. Messages have been coming and going since I arrived. I've heard the name Rada al-Saran, the Ashen Lord, spoken in hushed and revered tones. His name was on the communique you found, remember? We need to get down there and see what else we can learn.
I'm still misreading that as communique, even though it's communique. And yes, I did go to dictionary.com earlier to get the actual definition of that word.
Hiding, building their forces, digging, undermining. That's the correct term, I think. Plus, they're collecting the Herald, herding them like cattle. It's monstrous what they're doing to these poor people. The only thing I'm sure of is I have to try. If my father won't act, then it falls on me to get things done. It's what my mother would want me to do.
All right.
Look, on the scaffold. Let's eavesdrop on those werewolves.
I left the orders in my tent, but the Ashen Lord was clear. We need more netherroot. See to the undergrowth immediately.
As you command, Pintok.
Cool,
There.
mage point.
On the left. Let's listen in.
All right, where's the spot where we spy? Whoops. Nope, nothing to see here. Just some fat lost guy in a suit of armor trying to find where he's supposed to up there. Okay. Whoops. Yeah.
Exarch Zingalis has fallen. I have never seen Rada el-Saran, our Ashen Lord, so filled with sorrow, or such rage.
Does the loss of the Exarch alter our plans?
Not in the least. The strike on Solitude will occur as planned after Exarch Ulfra tests the improved ritual in the Undergrove.
An attack on Solitude? We need to move quickly. The Grey Host definitely has something big planned. Let's search the tents for a copy of those orders.
Okay, now we can blow up some vampires. Perfect! Ha! Just what this guy is for, huh? Boom! Alright. Let's see here. Is anyone hitting in there? No. Down here? Yeah, there we go. Whoops! We angered the vampire dogs. Oh, I have to go all the way over there to loot it. Ooh, green dagger. Decon that later. Alright, what are these guys up to here? His killers have retreated to the shadows. Doubtless they mean to harry us in our righteous labor. Already there are whispers of them seeking to stop the spread of the harrowed. I will not abide any further threats to our goal. My family will be delivered from their torment, and not even Molag Bal himself can stop me. To that end, we must accelerate our efforts. All preparations regarding the attack on Solitude must be completed post-haste. That end, make sure everything required from the work in the Undergrove is ready. The location is hidden and secure in the ancient Barrow, which fell into the earth for just this purpose. It will make a perfect testing ground for the next stage of the Harrow storms. Exarch Ulfra shall lead those efforts and prepare the way for the final Harrow storm. Grey Host victorious.
That's what we were looking for. Let's talk over there.
What, behind the tent? Oops. Nope, vampire dog, you didn't see anything. Again with the double skills. That's got to be a bug. Seems like, yeah, it seems like Greymore might have added some bugs to the game instead of dealing with them. Okay, here we go.
Orders from Rada al-Saran. His words sent a chill down my spine. Their plan for Solitude? It might even be more dreadful than an all-out attack. We need to get back and determine the exact location of this undergrove place. You saw what happened at Kilcreath and Carthwatch. Whatever they have planned for Solitude, it sounds a whole lot worse. I wish we knew more about this Rada al-Saran and what drives him.
The combat, it's combat that triggers all of this. So we gotta kill all the surrounding enemies. Looks like we have a bug of some sort we gotta deal with here. Talk to Savannah and Blackreach. I have. She keeps getting triggered into combat by all these enemies that keep respawning. So let's take them all out. Not exactly the best quest design now, is it?
Orders from Rada al-Saran.
Yeah, see, now she disappeared.
A family of monsters.
That's where we left off anyways.
Imagine vampires and werewolves working together. Let alone talking about one another like brothers and sisters. It's not natural.
And now she's bugged again. So what do we have to kill now to get her to finish the dialogue? It's whenever she goes to combat.
Orders from I'm glad I got to look around Blackreach, but I can't wait to see the sun and sky again. No matter how big these caverns are, it still feels like we're buried alive down here. We came down here to find out what the Grey Host has planned. But Fen still needs information about how the medallions are created, and a sample of the refined netherroot brew. Help Fen and Lyris at the other camps. Then meet me in Solitude. Then we're done here. I hope we found enough to end the threat of the Grey Host. I'll meet you back at the Blue Palace. Good luck, my friend.
See, this kind of... I never really saw this kind of bugginess with the Solitude or the Elsewhere main quests when those expansions launched. We can warp straight to Solitude because we picked up the Snowmelt Suite as a housing area. I'm legitimately concerned for the well-being of this game and whether or not ZeniMax Online might be diverting resources away and eventually shutting it down if that's the way that this works. Very disappointed. You got situations where it snows indoors, you have that bug we just encountered down there. All that stuff. So I'm wondering about this activity on this Dr. Disrespect discussion. Yeah, sure, there's a lot of people that are just F5ing all the news. Is there an update on the guy? No. Everyone's just saying the same stuff. Yep, same stuff over and over again. There's so little stuff that's being actually released about what's happening. Yep, and all the... Yeah, they're just taking... Even ESPN is part of the problem. They're just doing everything they can to re-say what everyone's already been saying on Twitter. Alright, let's continue this. It's crazy, you know? Absolutely crazy. With so little information is being turned into so much by the media. It's just this news outlet runs their story, then that news outlet runs their story. Oops, that's the basement. We're gonna get out of here. Alright. Let me guess, the attack begins and the phase changes while I'm in the Blue Palace. go up to the smithy and get repaired at least.
Solitude. A glorious place to work with metals. But contrary to my expectations, none will teach me how to pronounce dwarven names.
We mostly have stuff that we need to decon more than anything else. Crafting dailies? Nah. See, I've been wanting to finish the main quest in this for a long time. I've just had so much stuff going on with the shows and everything, with everything that's going on. Comparing all the streaming platforms to each other. Now let's head off to the Blue Palace and finish this off.
Hold up there.
I have games I haven't even played yet. I have Grand Theft Auto 4 Complete Edition. I never beat Grand Theft Auto 5 single player. So many games to play. Plenty of content for gaming type stuff. The question is whether it's going to be YouTube, Twitch, or a combination of both. You know what I find interesting is that Tencent actually is getting in on all the action now. There's a Twitch ripoff site that went live called Trovo. Well, old Twitch anyways, before the last UI. It's just green instead of purple. We'll see how... I imagine Tencent will probably very aggressively burst into the space to establish a competitor. But what matters here is, do people watch it and how many? And just how viable is the platform? Alright. Come on, Savannah.
Do we have a way to defend against the Harrow Storms, or what?
The elixir should do what we need, provided neither Fen nor I made any miscalculations.
Yolen, don't be so negative. The elixir will work. You'll see.
Well, these are all plot characters, so that makes sense. That's good.
Like a log tonight.
Oh, good. You're back. Mjolnir and I have been discussing the various ways to turn what we've got into a protective elixir. I'm hesitant to get too excited, but I think we've figured out how to defend against the Harrow Storms. The Grey Host uses an unstable mix of alchemy and sorcery to create the Harrow Storms. An arcane ritual and the Netherroot brew focus the power of each Harrow Storm through the prepared witch pikes. Ingenious, but fully exploitable. We can use the refined brew as the basis of our elixir. Now that we understand how the Harrow Storms are created, we can use those same components to replicate the medallion's protective properties. We just need to gather the necessary components.
Let's do some experimenting here.
Svana's associate, Mog, will procure most of the supplies I need, but there's one final ingredient required. For various reasons, I can't simply walk into the Hall of the Dead and claim it myself. I need you to acquire Arkay's sacred oil.
Is this really this broken? Let's try this. Let's try this. I'm doing some experimenting here to see what happens. Try not to break it here. We'll give it about 5 minutes. I want to see what YouTube has figured out.
A holy ointment associated with a god that became popular due to imperial influence. It's used by the priests in the Hall of the Dead to provide protection against necromancy and the undead. We need that oil to create our elixir.
You'll need my help. I'll meet you at the Hall of the Dead. Mog, put away the tankard and get the supplies Fen requires.
Yes, your royal ladiness. But I'm keeping the tankard.
Okay. Thank you. We'll see what happens to the number. That door didn't make noise on the PTS. Yeah, time to fix it, Zenny. I really wonder about the health of this game. Alright, Solitudes, Hall of the Dead. That's over by the temple, I think? It's near the Temple of the Eight Divines. Whoops, went in a big circle.
Guards or refugees arrive by the hour. Why does Fargrim hesitate?
The High King is...
Princess Vana, what can I do for you, your highness?
Listen to my friend, High Priest. We need your help.
I'm surprised to see the princess here. As you can see, the influx of refugees has made this place much more hectic than usual. Is there something I can do for Princess Vana?
Yep. It throws the number out of whack if you, So YouTube has the features that you can't... No, you only count as one viewer if you have your thing open, so... And, yeah, the counter's a little screwy. Yeah, it's about as messed up as Twitch's counter, but the viewer counter should never affect the show that you put on, because what if people show up before it updates? They see you there because you think nobody's watching, and they're like, oh, this guy's boring, and they move on. So, a little Twitch 101 there.
Sacred oil? Strange. That's the second time today someone has come seeking Arce's anointing balm. Sword Thane Athlet arrived with an edict from the king, demanded our entire supply. How we're to consecrate the dead without it, I have no idea.
So this is the interesting thing here, is that... something.
The Sword Thane wouldn't say. He just mentioned that the High King needed it to defend Solitude. I'm sorry I can't comply with the princess's request. Things are hard enough that these refugees must take shelter here among the dead. The Sword Thane took the oil to Castle Dower. That's where all the supplies for a siege are gathered during periods of strife. I pray that High King Svargrim receives the patience and wisdom required to see us through this crisis. Solitude's foundation began with the construction of Castle Dower. It's the oldest structure in the city, and the most defensible. I tried to move the refugees there for safekeeping, but my request was denied. The High King has other plans, I suppose.
So I have a few issues with streaming on YouTube. One of them is cluttering up the uploads part of the channel with long-form content that's not edited.
I wonder how long South Point's mayor will survive in the Shivering Isles. Hopefully not very.
That's the thing, though. The strength...
Castle Dower is... Princess Vana.
Sword Thane, our business is urgent. My friend will explain.
Well, I didn't think I'd trigger the plot event that quickly, but... So here's the situation with all of this. with streaming on YouTube, this is long-form, completely unedited content. So it's going to be this big, what are we up to? Hour-plus long video? Who's going to watch that without skipping around all over the place? So, at least in the case of the killer clips and the other stuff that I've done, at least in the case of the killer clips and killer segments from the radio-style shows, they make sense similar to the way the old radio-style podcasts used to do. Those videos I used to make with pictures and audio and stuff. An obsolete setup by today's standards with how OBS has all these wonderful things built in. Hey, there's my timer. Something I do too when I talk to these smart speakers, I mute the microphone so I don't trigger other people's speakers.
I don't have time for the princess's proclivities right now. The High King, we barely keep up with the multitude of tasks, so speak quickly and let me get back to it. My orders from the High King were clear. Stockpile the entire supply of sacred oil in the Temple of the Divines here within the confines of Castle Dower. What in Shore's name does the princess need with holy oil anyway? Protection? Truly? The Herald already outnumber my soldiers and more arrive every day. Still, giving you the oil would violate the High King's edict. I suppose if I happened to look the other way for a moment, I wouldn't notice if a flask disappears.
A single flask? Then we'll have to make do. Let's get it back to...
Sword Thane! Why his work? I gave strict orders, yet my daughter freely enters the castle grounds. What do they want, Sword Thane?
We came to offer our assistance, Father. Sword Thane, how can we help?
Athlet has everything well in hand, child. Despite your intentions, you would only hinder our efforts. Go! The Sword Thane doesn't need my daughter or her wastrel underfoot.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the xenophobic king of Western Skyrim. The opposite of the case in the Skyrim game.
Away with you! We're much too busy for Svana's frivolous notions.
It's interesting how ZeniMax flipped the script on this, but this is the second era instead of the fourth era.
My father's never been what I'd call a warm and caring parent, but this crisis has made him even more distant. Let's get this sacred oil to Fen. My father will certainly change his attitude once we present the protective elixir to him. He's trying to protect me. It's what he does. And leave me out. Though I suppose that's mostly my own fault. I know Mother's death weighs on him, as does this entire crisis. That's why we have to help. This elixir is going to work. It has to. It's not that unusual. Castle Dower is the most defensible part of the city. In the past, we'd gather the people inside the walls. Now my father is using the fortress to house the Herald. They need to go somewhere, right? Come on, let's go.
And back to the Blue Palace yet again.
What do you want?
Every man has his price. Mine is 5 gold.
Once it's ready, I'll test the elixir.
As you say, Lyris. Ah, here they come now. You have the sacred oil? Add it to the cauldron. Yes, a perfect fusion. It's ready to be tested. Come, let's talk. With the addition of the sacred oil, the elixir is complete. Before we produce enough to distribute to the people of Western Skyrim, we need to test it. I'm confident of my work, but we're dealing with powerful forces here. We can't wait for the next Harrow Storm to strike, but what you and Svanna learned in Blackreach might help. You heard that Exarch Ulfra was testing Harrow Storm rituals in a place called the Undergrove. We'll go there and let Lyris drink the elixir. During my explorations of Blackreach, I came across an ancient burial site, a place called the Midnight Barrow. This undergrove must be inside those ruins. Once there, you and Svanna keep watch from a safe distance, while Lyris steps into the storm. From what I could tell, the Midnight Barrow sank into Blackreach in the distant past. Somewhere in its chambers, we'll find the undergrove. The ruined barrow is in the Lightless Hollow, in the northwest portion of the cavern. We'll meet you there. We're going to find an active Harrow Storm in the Undergrove, or I'm going to attempt to replicate one in there. Then Lyris drinks the elixir, exposes herself to the dark magic, and we wait to see what happens. Very risky, but it's also our best chance to counter the Harrow Storms and fight back against the Grey Host. Either Lyris comes through fine, or she transforms into a Harrowed, or a Harrow Fiend. That's also a possibility.
So the next step in the story is the Midnight Barrow. That, however, will wait for some other day. 10-second timer on quitting the game. Okay. So, there's all this talk about how YouTube has all this discoverability and an endemic audience and all this other stuff. And yet, with a split stream tonight, YouTube didn't have any better numbers than what I saw on Twitch. Matter of fact, there was more activity in the chat on Twitch. So, I think this all speaks to a little issue that I've been talking about with the 9-to-5ers this week. Numbers don't cover everything. We've discussed on various, well, now they're videos over here. We discussed the ratios of streamers versus watch hours over on these various platforms. And YouTube on paper has better numbers than Twitch does, especially after Mixer has shut down. Take Mixer out of the equation, and now Twitch is actually allegedly the worst of the platforms for this kind of thing. But I don't see any better results coming over to YouTube. Let's check the live results of this as we wrap up here. Let's see. Could try during prime time, see if things get any better during prime time, but it has been very much my experience that nothing works ever. Doesn't matter when I stream, doesn't matter when anything. Doesn't matter when I stream, nothing ultimately matters. So let's see here. Oh, someone stopped by and hit like. That's the extent of it. There's comments available and whatnot as well. But I really don't know what to say. Not in the slightest. It could just be the case that I shouldn't do anything anywhere ever again. But we're not going to do that. So therefore, since there hasn't been any significant improvement, despite the mathematical possibility of there being so with YouTube, we're just going to keep working on Twitch as a second platform. So, there's a difference sometimes between things on paper and things with the numbers and the way things are with real life. And this is one of those examples. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.